Elvis, I cannot express enough how happy I am that we managed to get here today. I really am. How are you?
Hi, Martin. I'm very well, thank you. Yes, lovely to be here.
To those of you guys who are new to this channel, I invite my former students who completed the Greenbelt training, the Lean Six Sigma Greenbelt training, and they delivered some significant cost savings through improvement projects to their businesses. And it would be extremely unfair if we didn't have Luis on this channel. And you will learn why in a second. So, Luis, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, maybe your professional background, and why did you take training in the first place?
Yeah, so I'm a professional civil engineer with experiences in tunnel construction, structural asset management and design, railway asset management and maintenance work, embankment stabilization, renewable energy. And for the last 8 years, I've sort of been working on highways maintenance contracts as a project manager, managing capital works on sort of carriageway and footway schemes on East Sussex highways contract.
I have to say that one of the key reasons why we are here today is the project. I have to say that I was and I still am well impressed by the project that you have delivered. So I have to say it right now, £1 million in cost avoidance. I'm going to say this again, 1 million, right? And we didn't script this before this interview. So I'm going to say this right now. You have now taken the first spot on the list of Lean Six Sigma projects in terms of the cost saving element. You have now dethroned the person who kept the first space for quite some time with £750,000 worth of cost savings. Now it's 1 million. So tell us about the project.
Yeah, that's very kind. So because we deliver quite a large budget of project due within a year's time, and obviously looking at what we in terms of since we've completed the course, looking at the project that we're going to be delivering in sort of 12 months time. So well, it's actually started anyway. It's it varies. So we have different challenges. So we've, for example, just I'll talk about the two briefly because they're quite big projects. I mean, both projects cost just over 2.5 million. Both of them, they're carriageway schemes. The first one, it goes to a length of 750 meters at varying depth, where we're basically taking off the existing surface and then replacing it with newer and upgraded surface. We encountered, obviously there are challenges as you'd expect. For the first one, we're working at on this road where we've got a hospital, so it's an NHS hospital just nearby. Clearly the other challenges with varying depth is shallow buried utility services, which basically they're unexpected, even though we did carry out some ground penetrative radar surveys, which tells you where these assets are and how deep they're, that sort of thing. We still had issues because it didn't pick up everything that we had on the stats plan, which tells us what services are sort of on the ground. So yeah, so that's another challenge that clearly we faced. On the second project, it was more it was a combination of solutions that we put in place, really. So one of them were to avoid excavating the carriageway to about 900 millimeters in depth. So instead, what we did was we installed polymer injections at depth of 750, basically to stabilize the sub base of the carriageway. And then we laid surface binder and surface core, so in hot rolled asphalt materials. Yeah, so in terms of we had to manage these deliveries because the lean project worked perfectly for me, really, because of these obstacles that we're facing, and by managing these projects with the lean principle, we're obviously able to eliminate waste and streamline defect variation throughout the delivery process, which was fantastic for us.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we spoke about your project multiple times for the duration of the training, you came to the course, and effectively every 4 weeks when we had a chance to look into the progress, we were seeing more and more things materializing within the project realm. And even at that point, I don't think that anyone, maybe that's not true, but I didn't realize at that time that the scope of work can be so vast and also bring so much of benefit to the business. I mean, if you ask people around, continuous improvement realm, if you ask them about typical project they undertake, you would usually hear stories about, a few thousand here, a few £1,000 cost saving there, which is absolutely fine. It's always a step forward. But when you talk about £1 million coming from a Lean Six Sigma green belt, that's not insignificant, is it?
No, it's as I said, it's a great tool. So of course, the £1 million cost avoidance basically comes from, our visits. So reducing the defects. So we at Balfour Beatty Living Places, we're looking to deliver a scheme first time right. So that means 0 defect schemes. There are things that we are measured up against, so things that are key performance indicators and service performance indicators. So SPIs, we call them for short, which means that if we fail certain SPIs in terms that's got to do with defects, there are cost implications to those, and clearly we don't want that, because it not only means that you're having to cost the business money, but also it's a waste of time in terms of having to replan revisits. So that means you have to kind of get the subcontractors back to site. You've got to you've got to make sure you do all your due diligence as you would, for example, starting a scheme. So liaise again with the stakeholders, look at getting permits from the network, from the local authorities, obviously when that's available, getting your supervisors out to site, and that's all their cost, as well as obviously as a project manager, my cost is included in that too. So there's quite a lot that all adds up to that million, and that's because of the sheer volume of work that we tend to deliver. You do have that, in terms of costs, that's not needed really. It's almost like it's a waste. I mean, which
it's a non-value added, 100%.
Correct. Yeah.
What is interesting is that when we went through the training, I think that both of us were surprised when we realized that some people don't necessarily understand that you can translate time saving into the monetary value. Very often you would see people who say, oh, yes, I can save a little bit of time here, or even a lot of time, but that's it, that's all I can do. And you think, well, that's exactly what's needed. There is only one small step from taking this time-saving element and converting it to the monetary saving, cost avoidance, or even, business growth if necessary. So it's interesting to see that within your projects, this was also on the key element. You said yourself that you are saving a lot of time on unnecessary site visits. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So that I would say, because people tend to not value their time, in terms of, like, when you're at work, you've got to look at everything you're doing. So if you're going out to site, that's your time. If you're having meetings, that's your time, and it's cost. These are all cost reimbursable items that you're filling up your day with. So worse still, if you have to go back to site to rectify defects, what's that telling the public and other key stakeholders within that vicinity is perhaps you didn't spend as much time, you didn't plan things properly. So yeah, we all know things can happen whilst you're on site, things change and situations arise and stuff, but it's about managing those changes. So it's about being proactive. So if because I've got my supervisors on site daily, making sure that they are monitoring site activities. So when things go wrong, they can speak to the subcontractor straight away and agree a process of rectifying those defects, so it doesn't sort of add up and sort of roll over to something even bigger that would cause us to come back to site post completion.
I like what you said at the beginning of this. People don't value their time. I like this quote. I'm going to steal it from you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna credit you for it, but I like it, because if you start with this principle, suddenly the whole world of potential improvements open up in business and beyond business. So that's really cool to hear, in the light of the company and the improvement projects and the growth as well. So what's next? So what's next in terms of Lean Six Sigma, continuous improvement? What's ahead of you right now?
So very exciting. What's next is to try to roll this, the ideology of it, the principles, to roll it across the business, for everybody to be doing exactly what I've done in my projects and stuff, and just making people aware of it, and just because sometimes people do some things, not all of it, but when you explain stuff to them, like the principles and how you go about doing with daily stuff, define the problems. Yeah, people say, oh yeah, we'll define the problem. Interim action, what are you going to do? How do you collect data and stuff like that? People say, oh yeah, we check this, but although they're doing it unconsciously, we want them to do it consciously and purposefully. Like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. Let's define the root cause. Let's evaluate the solutions. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a discussion where we can, put stickers up and just brainstorm and write our ideas in as you're planning the work. Implement your solutions. You analyze it and then you make it a standardization, which is what I'm hoping to do across the business. Everyone can buy into it. And obviously, as with everything comes cost. Where people see the cost avoidance, the potential of it, they would buy into it straight away. And and I must say, even now, I have been speaking to a couple of the other managers and sort of getting these principles rolled out across their project. So we're looking to go even further than East Sussex Highways, really, just go within the whole Balfour Beatty group. So yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is how you make £1 million worth of cost saving. Elvis, I cannot thank you enough for being here today. I genuinely thank you for sharing this story and being so open about the challenges that you faced, the tools, but also the fact that this is not the end, this is just the beginning. And if there's anyone out there who is still undecided which route to take towards continuous improvement, business growth, I would say with 100% certainty, this is the right way to do it. Just go towards Lean Six Sigma. If you don't have to trust me. Listen to Elvis, listen to other people that we have interviewed so far. I mean, these are the real life examples. And if you still want to know more, there's plenty of information on our websites, on our blog, on LinkedIn. There's plenty of data. I think that we have never been so fortunate as we are right now with the access to information. So you don't have to trust one person. You can just Google research, do your own research and find out. So once again, it was absolutely amazing. I'm really happy that you found time on Friday afternoon. You're just going home right now. So again, even more appreciated. And who knows? I have this feeling that our path will cross again at some point, probably sooner rather than later, especially within the Balfour Beatty realm. So again, have a fantastic day. Thank you for your story, and let's hope we'll catch up soon again.
Indeed. Thank you. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you. All the best to you, Elvis. Thank you.
Take care.